Bonjour. Okay. Bonjour. Hello, everyone. Bonjour. If I could please have your attention as I adjust the mic. And we are about to begin today's event. Bienvenue à toutes et à tous. Si vous voulez bien m'accorder votre attention, nous sommes sur le point de commencer l'événement aujourd'hui. Thank you to everyone for being here today. My name is Chantal Bertholet, and I am a senior policy analyst with the 2S LGBTQI+ Secretariat at Women and Gender Equality Canada. Merci d'être parmi nous. Merci d'être parmi nous aujourd'hui. Mon nom est Chantal Bertholet et je suis conseillère principale des politiques du secrétariat de LGBTQI+, à Femmes et Égalité des Genres Canada. To open our event, I'd like to welcome the Ottawa Gay Men's Chorus. Pour débuter l'événement, j'aimerais souhaiter la bienvenue au chœur gay d'Ottawa.
Elle me dit, écris une chanson contente, pas une chanson déprimante, une chanson que tout le monde aime. Elle me dit, tu deviendras milliardaire, tu auras de quoi être fier, tu finiras comme ton père. Elle me dit, ne t'enferme pas dans ta chambre, vas-y, secoue-toi et danse, dis-moi c'est quoi ton problème. Elle me dit, qu'est-ce que t'as l'air coincé, t'es défoncé ou t'es gay, tu finiras comme ton frère. Elle me dit, c'est ta vie, qu'est-ce que tu veux, tant pis, un jour tu comprendras, un jour tu t'en voudras. Elle me dit, t'es trop nul, sors un peu de ta bulle, tu fais n'importe quoi, on dirait que t'aimes ça. Pourquoi tu gâches ta vie, pourquoi tu gâches ta vie, pourquoi tu gâches ta vie, danse, danse, danse. Elle me dit, pourquoi tu gâches ta vie, pourquoi tu gâches ta vie, pourquoi tu gâches ta vie, danse, danse, danse. Elle me dit, fais comme les autres garçons, va taper dans un ballon, tu deviendras populaire. Elle me dit, qu'est-ce que tu fous sur Internet, ça va pas bien dans la tête, regarde le temps que tu perds. Elle me dit, pourquoi tu te plains tout le temps, on dirait que t'as 8 ans, c'est pas comme ça tout va plaire. Elle me dit, un jour je serai plus là, et c'est quand elle me dit ça, qu'elle me dit un truc que j'aime. Elle me dit, c'est ta vie, qu'est-ce que tu veux, tant pis, un jour tu comprendras, un jour tu t'en voudras. Elle me dit, t'es trop nul, sors un peu de ta bulle, tu fais n'importe quoi, on dirait que t'aimes ça. Pourquoi tu gâches ta vie, pourquoi tu gâches ta vie, pourquoi tu gâches ta vie, danse, danse, danse. Elle me dit, pourquoi tu gâches ta vie, pourquoi tu gâches ta vie, pourquoi tu gâches ta vie, danse, danse, danse. Elle me dit, t'as pas encore les cheveux blancs, mais t'auras bientôt 30 ans, faudrait que tu te réveilles. Elle me dit, tu es toujours un enfant, tu ne seras jamais grand, et moi je suis déjà vieille. Elle me dit, regarde un peu tes amis, qu'est-ce qu'ils vont faire de leur vie, y'a de quoi se foutre en l'air. Elle me dit, oui, un jour tu m'aimeras, mais c'est quand elle me dit ça, qu'elle me dit le truc que j'aime. Elle me dit danse, elle me dit danse, 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 elle me dit danse. Elle me dit danse, 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 elle me dit danse. Elle me dit danse, 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 elle me dit danse, 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 elle me dit danse. Elle me dit c'est la vie, qu'est-ce que tu veux, tant pis, un jour tu comprendras, un jour tu t'en voudras. Elle me dit t'es trop nul, sors un peu de ta vie, tu fais n'importe quoi, on dirait que tu sais danse. Elle me dit danse, 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 elle me dit danse, 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 elle me dit danse. Elle me dit danse, 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 elle me dit danse, 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 elle me dit danse. Elle me dit danse, 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 elle me dit danse. Elle me dit danse, 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 elle me dit danse. Elle me dit danse, 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 elle me dit danse, 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 elle me dit danse. Elle me dit c'est ta vie, qu'est-ce que tu veux, tant pis, un jour tu comprendras, un jour tu t'en voudras. Elle me dit t'es trop nul, sors un peu de ta vie, tu fais n'importe quoi, on dirait que t'aimes ça, pourquoi tu gagnes. vie, pourquoi tu caches la vie, pourquoi tu caches la vie, danse, 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 elle me dit, pourquoi tu caches la vie, pourquoi tu caches la vie, pourquoi tu caches la vie, danse, 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 elle me dit, danse.
Thank you so much for that beautiful performance. Merci pour cette performance magnifique. Before we begin today, I would like to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the unceded traditional territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation, whose presence here reaches back to time immemorial. Avant de commencer, je tiens à reconnaître que le territoire sur lequel nous nous réunissons est le territoire traditionnel non cédé de la nation algonquine Anishinaabe, dont la présence ici remonte à des temps immémoriaux. I'm delighted to welcome all of you here for this important event today. Look at this crowd, it's huge. We are gathered here today on June 3rd to mark Canada's launch of Pride Season. C'est avec plaisir que je vous accueille toutes et tous ici pour cet événement important. Nous sommes réunis ici le 3 juin pour marquer le lancement de la saison de la fierté au Canada. While Pride celebrations take place all year round, Pride Season typically refers to the wide range of events happening over the summer months from May to September. I'd now like to welcome Dylan Jenkins, Knowledge Keeper, for an opening blessing. J'aimerais maintenant accueillir Dylan Jenkins, gardien du savoir, pour une bénédiction d'ouverture.
Sensei. Ani bonjour. Hello. Bonjour à tous. C'est un gros, immense plaisir d'être ici avec vous aujourd'hui. Je suis honoré et touché d'ouvrir la cérémonie d'aujourd'hui. I'm Dylan Jenkins. Hope you didn't need that. I'm Dylan Jenkins. I'm from Yark Factory, Cree Nation, and I am a Two-Spirit Knowledge Keeper. And I am a visitor here on these lands of the Anishinaabe, the Algonquin Nation. I am grateful for their graciousness and their care and their stewardship, not only of the lands and the waterways, but for all of us. Because for when you care for the land, you are caring for the people. And when you care for the people, you are caring for the lands. And I'm put forth today as a knowledge keeper, not as an elder, but as a knowledge keeper. And so in our ways, we honor the people that have been on our path, that has helped us thrive, to become and to heal. And so I'm here today because of my elders, Ted Silverhand, Iroquois Confederacy, Tuscarora Nation, Nokomis, Martino Azamic, Anishinaabeg Nation, Wekwamakong and Ceded First Nation, Elaine Lavalley, Métis Nation, Red River, St. Ambrose, and Elder Barbara Brandt, Iroquois Confederacy, Tayin Denega, Mohawk Territory. And for them I am grateful, and I say Chimigwech. I would like to begin with a song. Je vais commencer une chanson. And with our songs, we don't clap after. Our ancestors do love our songs, but we don't clap. Instead, we acknowledge with a smile, a nod. And so I'm going to ask everyone, as I start the ceremony with song, to open your hands so that you may receive and contribute to the energy on this beautiful day where we are here to celebrate the 2S LGBTQIA+ communities and their contributions to this nation. Weya, weyo, weya, heya, weya, heyo, weya, ya, weya, ya, weya, ya, heyo. Weya, weyo, weya, heya, weya, heyo, weya, ya, weya, ya, weya, ya, heyo. Weya, heya, weyo, weya, heya, weyo. Weya, heya, heyo, weya, heyo, weya, ya, weya, ya, weya, ya, heyo. Weya, weyo, weya, heya, weya, heyo, weya, ya, weya, ya, weya, ya, heyo. Weya, heya, weyo, weya, heya, weyo. Weya, heya, heyo, weya, heyo, weya, ya, weya, ya, weya, ya, heya, heya, heyo. Miigwech. You know, our wise ones, our elders, they remind us and they teach us of the powerful natural phenomena of the rainbow. It is a pathway between the physical and the spiritual. It is a pathway to hope and a pathway to strength and a pathway to humanity's destination. We are to come together as one. And that is what the rainbow does. It brings together the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And it is the light of all different vibes, of all different frequencies. It reminds us to shine in our own light, to speak our truth and to honor our truth. It is a symbol of hope. And without hope, we cannot thrive as a nation. And the elders teach us that you do not take the hope away from people, but you also do not give them false hope. And so today is a celebration, and it is actually a gift from the Two-Spirit LGBTQIA+ community to live in your truth. Because there will be storms and there will be chaos. But the rainbow always appears. It is about new beginnings. It is about walking in your truth. And so it is our community that reminds you of your humanity. We are who can bring the people together, and traditionally the two spirits would bring people together. And so this is what I ask today while you watch the raising of this flag. Be mindful that what currently may be dividing us is nowhere as damaging to our hope as the division itself. And the Two-Spirit, LGBTQT, we are a reminder of that, and we offer you this gift today. And if only we could fly that rainbow in the sky every day, and not just during Pride season, so that we may all look at the flag today together with one heart and believe that there is always more, and it is good. With that, I say, it is, and so it shall be. Miigwech, ni naskomatin, ahaw.
Thank you, Knowledge Keeper. Thank you for sharing and for starting us off in a good way today. I would now like to welcome the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, to offer remarks. J'aimerais maintenant inviter le très honorable Justin Trudeau, Premier ministre du Canada, à prendre la parole.
Happy Pride season, Canada! Thank you so much, Chantal. Thank you to the Ottawa Gay Men's Chorus for that wonderful performance. Merci beaucoup, mes chers amis. Et merci à tous les parlementaires et aux membres de la communauté de LGBTQI+, qui se joignent à nous aujourd'hui pour hisser le drapeau de la fierté et marquer le début de la saison de la fierté ici au Canada. Je tiens en particulier à souligner la présence de la ministre Marci Ien, du sénateur René Cormier et de Jordan Ames Sinclair de l'Assemblée des Premières Nations, qui travaillent tous très fort pour défendre la communauté. But it also is remarkable to be able to be here year in, year out with so many members of Parliament who continue to step up, not just here in Ottawa, but right across the country, to celebrate Pride, but also to stand in solidarity as allies every single day of the year. But before I continue on this, I want to acknowledge that 5 years ago today exactly, I received the final report from the National Inquiry into the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. Today is a reminder that we all have much work to do still to make Canada a safe and welcoming place for Indigenous women and girls and for all 2S LGBTQI+ communities. Our government held the first Pride-raising flag on the Hill 9 years ago, recognizing that no matter your sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression, you have a voice. You are respected. You belong here and here on Parliament Hill. And we've made important progress since then. We've invested in the research and science that helped us end the unjustifiable blood ban. We launched Canada's first 2S LGBTQI+ action plan. We banned conversion therapy, a cruel and degrading practice. Mais on ne peut pas prendre ce progrès pour acquis. On ne peut pas relâcher notre vigilance parce qu'on voit ces temps-ci une résurgence de la haine envers les personnes de LGBTQI+. Increasingly, members of the 2S LGBTQI+ community are raising the alarm about hate crimes and hate speech that undermines their sense of safety and dignity. You know, it wasn't supposed to be this way. When we raised the flag on Parliament, the Pride flag on Parliament Hill 9 years ago, it was supposed to be the start of real locked-in progress that had been fought for years, for decades, for generations. I even remember in 2016, when I was the first Prime Minister to walk in Pride parades across the country, in Montreal at home particularly, everyone was filled with the question of, is it even relevant anymore? Do we even need to be marching in Pride parades anymore because we've made so much progress? We're there, aren't we? And my answer at that time was, we've made tremendous progress. There's always still more to do, but it also is really, really important that Pride shows everyone around the world that there are places where we can march openly and freely and celebrate, like here in Montreal, like here in Canada. You know, as I get out across the country this summer, nobody's going to ask me that question, whether it's still relevant to be marching in Pride parades, whether it's still important to be standing up as allies, whether it's still meaningful that Pride is, yes, a wonderful celebration, but also a protest. Unfortunately, it is. This past year, we've seen too many people, including some politicians, shown that they're willing to target vulnerable trans youth, to deny them the freedom to seek life-saving, gender-affirming care, all for narrow political gain. In the face of this rising hate, our government is acting. As part of Canada's action plan on combating hate, we are supporting community outreach. We're tackling the rise in hate crimes. We're enhancing community security. We're countering radicalization. We're increasing support for victims and survivors and supporting law enforcement reform. Et dans notre dernier budget, on accorde 12 millions de dollars à des projets dirigés par d'excellentes organisations comme Égal Canada et Justice Trans pour lutter contre la haine et la discrimination. On va aussi fournir 3 millions de dollars pour répondre aux besoins de sécurité des festivals de la fierté. But I think we do need to pause on that. The fact that governments have to step up to invest in more security in these recent times for pride parades across the country. Progress was supposed to be progressing, but it reminds us how vigilant we need to be, how unapologetic in our celebrations, but in our strength as we stand together as a community and as allies, as we anchor ourselves in the defense of fundamental rights and freedoms that keep Canada one of the freest countries on earth. But nothing can be taken for granted. That's why we celebrate so loudly. That's why we stand so strongly together. And that's why we will continue to do this work together. On sait qu'il y a toujours beaucoup de travail à faire. On est là pour travailler avec vous. Each day is a fight to protect hard-won victories and push for greater freedom and equality for all Canadians. Our government will always be with you in that fight. We will always uplift your voices. We will always stand proudly by your side. Thank you all. Merci beaucoup, mes chers amis.
Thank you, Prime Minister, for those remarks. I'll now turn to the Honourable Marci Ien, Minister for Women and Gender Equality and Youth, for her remarks. Merci, la Première Ministre.
Chantal, you're doing a great job. Doing an awesome job. Choir, what a way to begin. Thank you so much. Did you see us grooving over here? Did you see us? We're dancing. The Senator, or Randy, singing along. We all were. It was wonderful. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Happy Pride. Dylan, I need to give you a special shout out, Knowledge Keeper. At a time when there are so many divisions, you said something that just gave me pause. The flag, the rainbow that you're standing beside right now is meant to bring us together. And that is something we need to contemplate on every single day. Thank you for starting us off, not in a good way, but a great way. Thank you. It's so good to see so many friends and colleagues. Prime Minister, you have led in an amazing way. You have stood, you have seen what empathy looks like and practiced it, and you have said rights are rights, and you have done this not when it's a politically correct time to do it. You've done it because it's the right thing to do and it's what you believe, and I just want to thank you for leading us well. So what an honor it is to stand with you and raise this flag today. It is a symbol of our government's commitment to building a more just and a more equitable and a more inclusive future for two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, and all sexually and gender diverse people. It's a symbol of progress. It is indeed a symbol of hope. As I stand here with you and reflect on the progress that's been made, it is not lost on me, and the Prime Minister mentioned this, that what we're doing here today wasn't always possible. We can never, ever take it for granted. We can't build a better future without acknowledging where we've been. Nous ne pouvons pas construire un avenir meilleur sans reconnaître où nous avons été. It is the strength, it is the resilience of 2S LGBTQI+ Canadians throughout history that have made this possible, and we are a better country because of it. So, where are we now? Just look around. 2S LGBTQI+ folks are leaders in healthcare, leaders in education, sport, arts, community service, government, and beyond. We're not just proud to be a country where this is the case. We're able to be the country we are because of it. But we know that this new age of progress comes with new challenges. There is pain around the world that a lot of us are feeling here at home. Hatred has found a home in online spaces. There's the fear for safety of 2S LGBTQI+ people, young and old, at school, at work, and at celebrations just like this one. I want you to know unequivocally that we not only hear you, we see you, and that your experience matters. It's behind everything we're doing to build a Canada where no one is left behind. It is why we're announcing today $1.5 million this Pride season and $1.5 million next Pride season, for a total of $3 million to support the security needs for Pride festivals. But as the Prime Minister said, this should give us great pause. These are not the kinds of announcements, funding announcements, that we want to make ever, but we need to make them because communities have been clear. They need this protection. Hatred is on the rise, and we will support now and always. It's why we're announcing $12 million over 5 years for projects to combat hate against the 2S LGBTQI+ communities, also through Budget 24. And this is just one piece in our broader effort to combat hate, led by my colleague and my friend, Minister Kara, who is a champion for strong and diverse communities. It is why, as the Prime Minister mentioned, for the first time ever in Canada, we have a federal 2S LGBTQI+ action plan creating a more equitable Canada for queer communities, for present and for future generations. So I have to tell you, as an MP and as a minister, it's my job to make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep driving this progress forward, that we're doing the work to ensure safety, to strengthen rights, to support our communities. D'avancer le travail que nous faisons pour assurer la sécurité, pour renforcer les droits, pour soutenir nos communautés. As a mom, and I brought my daughter Blaze with me today, it's my job to make sure that we're doing that work today so that the next generation can live in a safe and equitable Canada, where who you love, how you identify isn't just tolerated, it's celebrated. So as we stand here today, I have a lot of hope. I see strength, I see progress, I see a whole lot to be proud of. I hope that you, that us, we celebrate everything that makes you who you are unapologetically, this month and every month. Finally, I hope you all remember that no matter what challenges we face, when we come together, when we stick together, when we lift each other up, there is nothing that we can't do. Happy Pride. Bon fierté.
Thank you, Minister Ien. Un grand merci, Ministre Ien. I'd now like to welcome the Honourable René Cormier, Senator. Veuillez maintenant accueillir l'Honorable René Cormier, Sénateur.
Hello everyone, bonjour tout le monde. Happy Pride season. Yes. Prime Minister Trudeau, Minister Ien, Dylan Jenkins, members of the Canadian Pride Caucus, parliamentarians, dear friends and allies from the 2S LGBTQIA+ communities, good morning, bonjour. On behalf of my co-chair, Blake Desjardins, and all members of the Canadian Pride Caucus, I'm honored to speak to you on this important day. Je tiens à reconnaître que je participe à cet événement depuis le territoire non cédé du peuple algonquin Anishinaabe. Je les remercie de leur générosité en partageant ce territoire avec tous les Canadiens. The Canadian Pride Caucus that I have the privilege to co-chair celebrated its first anniversary last February. And I'm so proud that parliamentarians from both chambers, all members of the queer community, continue to work together in a non-partisan way for the benefit of the true LGBTQAI+ community. So Blake, Marnie, Kim, Seamus, Randy, Rob, Melissa, Randall, Pascal, thank you for your invaluable work and solidarity. Thanks to our parliamentary allies and partners who support us and take an active part in our activities. Pride Month, yes. Pride Month is a time of rejoicing and a time of reflection and action. It's time to recognize the hard-won progress and victories of the US LGBTQIA+ community in securing equal rights in society over the past decades. The past year has seen several positive accomplishments. This includes the recent announcement of the creation of the National 2S LGBTQIA+ Monument. Ce monument reflètera l'impact profond de la discrimination subie par les communautés de LGBTQIA+ du Canada. Ce monument célébrera les réalisations de ceux qui ont lutté pour l'égalité, en éduquant les visiteurs et en inspirant l'espoir et le changement pour l'avenir. Il témoigne de la résilience de la communauté queer et nous devons reconnaître et applaudir cette réalisation remarquable. Friends, we are privileged to live in a country where we have a federal government that acts to the 2S LGBTQI+ community rights. But it's not the case everywhere in our country. So Pride season is a reminder of the work that still needs to be done as our communities continue to face inequality and violence both here in Canada and globally. I will remind you that more than 60 countries worldwide still criminalize homosexuality, and the progress Canada has made over the years can be a beacon of positive influence for 2S LGBTQIA+ people around the world. Canada is not perfect. We all know that. We know that more must be done, but we must acknowledge our contribution to the world. So, it might be the time for Canada to have a special envoy to advance the human rights of 2S LGBTQIA+ persons. At a time when issues of sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression are under high tension in our country and elsewhere due to the unprecedented rise in hatred towards 2S LGBTQIA+ communities, we are at the crossroads. We must be there, speak out, and act, because there is no place in our country for violence, no place in our provinces, territories, regions, and municipalities for hatred, no place in our schools for discrimination and bullying. Le respect des droits de la personne est non négociable. C'est une responsabilité qui nous incombe à tous et qui devrait transcender les croyances et les allégeances politiques. All human beings are precious and deserve respect, no matter their age, sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression. So, for those of you who are working in our schools to defend and promote the rights of the LGBTQIA+ community, know that you are not alone. We are here, and we will continue to work alongside you to ensure the well-being of all young people who identify as members of the queer community. And it's a collective responsibility. Whether you are a member of the queer community or an ally, Pride season is a perfect time to show your support. Let's be there for the LGBTQIA+ people in our life. Speak out when you see intolerance in society, in workplace, in our schools, and among friends. Celebrate the differences that make our society vibrant and welcoming. Because as we always say, silence is not an option. A world where no one is persecuted or singled out for their identity is within reach and is achieved by each of us doing our part. We won't back down and we will not go back. We will continue standing up, speaking out so all citizens can celebrate who they are and who they love. Parlementaires, alliés, organismes de la société civile, plus que jamais, nous avons besoin les uns des autres. Nous devons être tous et toutes des champions dans nos partis politiques, dans nos groupes sénatoriaux et dans nos communautés. Nous avons dans notre magnifique pays l'énergie, la force, l'enthousiasme, l'engagement et les ressources pour agir encore mieux. Le drapeau que nous allons hisser dans un moment ne représente pas seulement la communauté de LGBTQIA+. Il représente la vie dans toute sa diversité. Et comme le chantait le grand auteur-compositeur québécois Jean-Pierre Ferland, décédé récemment, une chance qu'on s'a, une chance qu'on s'aime. As the great Quebec composer Jean-Pierre Ferland, who died recently, said in one of his most beautiful songs, we're so lucky to have each other. We're so lucky to love each other. And we're so lucky to live in this country. So let's continue supporting one another. Let's continue loving each other with the conviction that equality, diversity, inclusion, and freedom are values that all Canadians share. I wish you a reflective, meaningful, and happy Pride season. Let's commit to living these values not only during this month, but 365 days a year, 365 jours par année. Let's dance, dance, dance 365 days a year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Cormier. Un grand merci, Senator Cormier. I'll now turn to Jordan M. St. Clair to share their experience as a youth and TUS LGBTQI+ representative. J'invite maintenant Jordan M. St. Clair à nous faire part de son expérience en tant que porte-parole des jeunes et des communautés de LGBTQI+.
Merci, Senator Cormier, Minister Ien, Prime Minister, Kateak. Grandfather's sun shines quite strongly on us today. Sometimes I think Minister Boissonnault and Senator Cormier have something correct in that I think the hair adds a few extra degrees. But well, don't worry, we're almost there. Tansei, hello. My name is Jordan M. Sinclair. Firstly, I am two-spirited Cree Nehiyaw youth and a citizen of Zagame Anishinaabeg Nation, Treaty 4 territory, and I also work for the Assembly of First Nations, where I am many things, including the 2S policy lead. I would like to acknowledge my Kateak, Knowledge Keeper Dylan, for his prayer and starting us out in a good way today. I want to thank Minister Ien and her team for the invitation to speak here today. Always good to see you, as well as acknowledge and thank the Prime Minister for his presence here today. I want to begin by acknowledging I am a guest here on unceded Algonquin and Anishinaabe territory, and I want to thank them for being stewards of this land. I also want to acknowledge that today is the 5th anniversary of the final report of the National Inquiry, and I am wearing my red dress pin in commemoration, and I encourage everyone to wear some red today in commemoration. I want to be here today with a smile on my face to celebrate Pride with my queer family. The beginning of Pride is a joyous occasion. However, I cannot discuss how far we've come as a community without acknowledging the lived realities of so many young queer and 2S people in Canada today. Even my very being here, acknowledging myself as 2S, is more than a Pride celebration. It is a reclamation of my people's culture and ceremony. 2S people have always held a special place in my people's culture and ceremony, as Kateag Dillon was discussing today. That was until hatred and bigotry arrived on the boats, and a lot of our history was lost due to colonization. Every day, I seek to empower myself and other 2S people to reclaim our place in ceremony and culture, as our 2S Kateag have done since time immemorial. The majority of 2S people do not feel safe in the cities, and the majority do not feel safe even in our home communities. So then I ask you, where are we supposed to go? On June 3rd, 2021, the federal government launched the Federal Pathway to address missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and 2S people. The MLWG 2S calls to justice are a collective responsibility of all, and we must see its full implementation rapidly. We also must see the full implementation of the federal 2S LGBTQI+ action plan, particularly Pillar 3 to support Indigenous 2S resilience and resurgence, and Pillar 4, engage everyone in Canada in fostering a 2S LGBTQI+ inclusive future. We are not where we need to be to see the envisioned future that these reports and plans seek to accomplish. We're also not in the current reality where we are seeing these effects, as homophobia and anti-Indigenous racism are on the rise across Turtle Island, as was discussed many times today. I understand that now, even as I admonish, I look behind me into the eyes that are friendly and understanding. And no, we must do more. We're in a different reality. Those eyes may be cold and unwelcoming, committed to backwards policy proven to harm the 2S LGBTQI+ community. As a two-spirited youth, we need to collectively ensure that these measures are being implemented to ensure a better and more inclusive society for this current generation and 7 generations after us. The calls to justice, calls to action, and UNDA action plan measures all affect youth, as we are the ones to inherit the country that these measures seek to change for the better. Youth involvement is crucial in all of these aspects. Before I close, I want to thank and acknowledge everyone in attendance here today. I do believe it is worthy to know who is not here and the leaders that we do not see making it a priority to uplift our community. But let me close in thanks and celebration for the Pride season ahead of us. In my Cree language, love is Zagitowin, which loosely means love in action. It is an action word. So I call on all of us after this to go out and do some action for our community. Hi, merci, thank you.
Very inspiring words, Jordan. Thank you for sharing. I'll now invite the Prime Minister and Minister Ien to raise the Pride flag. J'invite maintenant le Premier ministre ainsi que la ministre Ien pour le lever du drapeau de la fierté.